Hey, it is Rob Liefeld, and I am here in my studio, finally ready to announce to you some of the most exciting news that I can share in 2024. Check this out. The two first launch action figures from Loose Collector are Cabot Stone from Bloodstrike. He is packed with gear, with all manner of cool utilities and accessories. And when you see what I see, you're going to flip out. And then accompanying him, a separate action figure, Bloodwolf. He is also loaded. He is yoked. He is big. I have collected a lot of action figures. I have had many action figures made for my Extreme Studios universe. But these are among, if not the very best I've ever seen. They are coming out in the third quarter of 2024.
It is 10 a.m. on a Saturday. I'm Robo. This here's the rewind. As you saw in the intro, Loose Collector continues to roll the Rob Liefeld Extreme Universe line out very, very slowly, but with each little glimpse, we get closer and closer to 90s glory. Last week we saw a prototype's fairly clean backside. This week, the video gives us a geared up look. Again, a small little taste of what's to come. That's something I didn't think about at first, the overlays. I was trying to picture a character in a skin-tight suit, but no, you add on straps and bracers and guns and vests and belts and pouches, don't forget about pouches, and it changes the look completely. And then seeing them side by side, I thought Cabot and Bloodwolf may share bodies, but don't get me wrong, there may be some reuse involved. Maybe the upper legs, maybe the torso under all those overlays, but then Bloodwolf's arms has hair and the boots are slightly different. There's studs on the foot parts, just differences to make them both unique from each other. But still under budget when it comes to manufacturing. You know what I'm talking about. Sensible reuse. To put a cherry on top for this round of reveals, Loose Collector also sent me this picture, a nice clean look at the front of the prototype. It looks as good as I expected. Last week I did mention some custom potential that I was maybe thinking of when I saw the bag, but the knee pads, it may make me take a step back from that idea, but having them next to Cable, I want to do some overlay swapping. See what can be made there. Ideas. But that all depends on the price too, which we'll find out next week when pre-orders go live. We talked about the 3-0 Transformers MDLX Starscream at some point last year, and then Skywarp came along a few weeks ago. Now here's that same figure in blue and gray for Thundercracker. And I don't mean that in any kind of negative way. That's the whole concept of the Seekers. Make a body, change up the colors, different characters, and you can tell they're all in the same crew. They run together, they fly together, they eat together, sleep together, hang out together after work. Heavy reuse dating all the way back to the 80s, and you thought that was a new marketing ploy out to get all your money. Ooh! While he's not my favorite of this group, he still looks pretty damn sweet, just with that classic design blended with modern aesthetics that we've come to love when it comes to MDLX. I think more than anything, well, it has to be. That's the only difference between the other two Seekers, right? It's Thundercracker's color scheme that puts them at the bottom of the pile for me. Not because of the blue itself, it's because it's mostly blue. The other two have a tertiary color that balances the overall palette. Here, there's blue, there's gray, with a little bit of black. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate it. I definitely do not hate it. But that's why, for me, Thundercracker trails behind Starscream and Skywarp. Otherwise, I've talked about this body and this style and this line till I'm blue in the face. The die-cast parts, the amazing articulation, the style, the sculpt, the paint, the wear, the tear. It's just so beautiful. I didn't pick up on the Birds of Prey aspect until later, after Starscream, with the clawed feet and the blades. And when I mentioned that, a lot of people were like, that's the reason we don't like these. Which is fine, because, hey, there's so many Transformers lines out there. If you don't like this, there's something else out there for you. But if you do like this, pow, here's your third Seeker. That's the shot right there. Look at that, just all descending, bringing doom upon the Autobots. While we are on the subject of 3-0, MDLX, and the color blue, they have solicited their own version of Mega Man. Now, if you've listened to me ramble on and on about Mega Man, you know that I can only identify the character of Mega Man. Much past that and I'm lost. I didn't play the games when I was a kid. It seems like I did try them out, but they were so frustrating that I was like, no, there's other things I could play that's way more fun, way more my gear. Still, Mega Man is an iconic character, and I can appreciate that. Usually from afar. And while I can fully admit that this looks fantastic, in fact, some of the special effects they did for the pretty promo pics like this, or this, there should, well, I don't know. I can't actually see the picture. There's nothing here, but there should be a disclaimer. Figure does not actually shoot energy. I love the look of this, but as an outsider, as a casual fan of Mega Man, if I can even call myself casual, if I were to get this character in plastic form, I would probably go with the Jada Toys release. That's not taking anything away from this. This is just me waxing toyetic. The Jada Toys is a cheaper price point, which is very important in this day and age of action figure collecting. And it looks almost just as good. But if you're a hardcore fan, like a certain someone that we all know and love, the wallet's already opening. Because while there are cheaper options that look just as great, there's also something to be said about imports, the quality, everything. Just, you want all the Mega Mans. There's just different itches. This scratches certain itches, this scratches certain other ones. I will point out that this is actually half an inch shorter than the Jada Toys release. 3-0 clocks in at about 4 inches. The Jada Toys, if I understand correctly, is about 4.5. I'm not sure how that works into the official stats, but if you're a stickler for a certain interpretation, that may affect your decision-making process. Did someone say Rockman? Oh, let's see what I did there, Rockman. A Rockman. Since I am waist deep in the Mattel Masters of the Universe cartoon collection line, I thought I would mention the Mattel Creations exclusive Origins Rock-On. Like the package says, modern posing, retro play. That sums it up. That is perfect marketing. It's the look and feel of what we had as kids, but updated for a more sophisticated adult collector. This is another line I'm just window shopping. I'm passing for the most part, but I am grabbing certain things that I can fit in with the line that I am collecting, like certain vehicles or characters, because, oh, he's got actual 4 legs and not all melted together like the vintage figure. This is tempting though. Rock-On and Stondar were staples in the play area back in the day. They had that shielding on the back, like, get behind me, and they could turn into boulders and rocks, meteors. You throw them at your brother and stuff. No, stay strong. If you started collecting Origins, where would we go from here? Which is the way that's clear. Rock on! Jimmy Dean. Anyone else hear that song back in the day and thought, why is he singing about breakfast sausage? Flipping back to something we already knew about in a kind of sort of roundabout way, last year the Four Horsemen released a Figura Obscura Sun Wukong the Monkey King. And it is a fine looking figure, perfectly capturing the feel that the Four Horsemen were going for in their own interpretation of a character that I didn't even know existed until the recent rash of releases. Hey, I'm not saying it's oversaturation or anything, because each company has done a fantastic job of putting their own spin on it. And for me, like I said, I had no clue who Sun Wukong was. It's been a crash course. I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, well, look at that one. That one brings something different to the table, and I like that too. Because looking at this one, which I'm bringing it up again, I think I missed that on the front end. They are releasing a variant version, which is called the Golden Sage version. I've got a lot of notes here. This definitely has the Four Horsemen signature style to it. Beautiful details and paints, the articulation scheme, the style, just everything about it. If you knew nothing about this release, you could look at it and go, oh, well, that's some Four Horsemen stuff right there. That would fit right in with Mythic Legions. The Golden Sage version is going to be part of their 2024 Retailer Appreciation Wave, which comes around once a year. That's why I put 2024 in front of Retailer Appreciation Wave. That means it will be available at all the Four Horsemen's retail partners, along with other figures that haven't been revealed yet. That all goes up on March 1st, so I expect some more reveals in the upcoming weeks, because March It's right around the corner. What is today? Oh, the 16th. Hey, didn't I just say that everybody was jumping on the Sun Wukong train lately? Fury Toys is no different, introducing their Demon Force Journey to the West Great Sage Equal to Heaven Monkey King Sun Wukong. Yes, I had to read that. There was no way I was remembering all that. Again, same basic concept, but completely different tactics to bring it to plastic life. Like, this is a more playful take, at least with some of the parts and pieces. There's also a kind of sinister magical aspect when you use other parts and pieces. The Four Horsemen's is thick and stoic. Yeah, those words together. It's more of a serious thing. Fury Toys went more acrobatic, more lithe with the added articulation points. There's so many options available, from angry attack mode to my favorite picture out of the bunch. More than any of those other pictures, this makes me think, well, maybe I do need a Monkey King in my collection. But you can pick and choose which options you want to get because there's a couple of releases. The standard edition is the base body and quite a bit of pack-ins. Then the battle damaged version brings the grunge. It tears some things up while changing the facial features and some of the add-ins. The accessory kit gives you even more to work with, like my beloved banana eating look. Yeah. Finally, the Alchemy Furnace diorama gives you a dynamic display option. Really, it comes down to choices, and there ain't a damn thing in the world wrong with that. And I'm not talking just here. I'm talking about between this and the Four Horsemen and all the other Monkey Kings. If you like one version, get it. If you don't like that, pass on it. Somebody else will buy it. Somebody else wanted that version. It's not a competition, it's a celebration. Get what you want, enjoy it, and then be happy that others can get what they want too. It's simple. It's so simple. I missed some updates to the Kyoto Amazing Yamaguchi My Hero Academia Dobby, but that's okay because we're in the final stretch. Pre-orders have went up, all the pictures have been revealed. We can look at it in all its full glory. I think I said it back when it was revealed, but I am behind on My Hero Academia by a couple of seasons. So I remember this character, especially with the black hair, but I haven't seen his transformation into the other version of this figure yet. And I'm not gonna go into details because when I read up on it and said it the first time, there were people like, hey, spoilers! Easy. So, hey, look, an interesting character from My Hero Academia with burns and lots of stitches and fire effects. Oh, and hair and face options, don't forget about that. You can choose between either black hair or white hair, obviously, but it's the face plates that catch my eye. I haven't gotten the last few releases in this line, but it seems that they've gotten really good at the face printing. It's almost like there's not a lot of sculpting going on. They've passed by that in order to up the ante when it comes to the printing, like the shadowing under the eyelids and everything. It just blurs that line between animation and action figure. You think, is this a steal? Oh no, that's a toy. Plus it's way better than moving eyeballs. I know there are fans of that, but oh, for me, no. But while we're talking negatives, oh, articulated trench coat, why? It doesn't seem as bad as the full-on capes like Batman and Magneto, but still, when I saw those joints and the gaps in it, and I thought, again, I know some people like that, especially if you're hardcore Revoltech, but for me, still, it's a great looking figure. Almost a perfect plastic presentation. Almost. But it's close enough to make me think, maybe I need to jump back into this line. Maybe I need to catch up with the series. Because I had to go hunting for who this is, which wasn't really that hard. I typed in My Hero Academia Rabbit. There it was. Mirako was shown at Wonderfest recently, and man, they are going deep with this line. Almost, it seems odd that they are skipping some characters that you would think would be a slam dunk for this line. But maybe they're going here and then coming back around to some of those more well-known characters. But again, I'm also behind in the series, so maybe Mirako is a major player. I know what I read, she's in the top 5 heroes, I think. But another thing is they went for this look, and from what I've seen online, there's much more interesting looks when it comes to her costume. Again, I'm not going to get into spoilers, but maybe that'll be swappable parts for this since it is Revoltech and they do have a tendency to be able to slide right off that joint system. So I don't know. How much more vague can I get? Kyoto also announced some other upcoming Revoltech figures like the Toy Story Woody 2.0. Now I've never messed with this figure. My only exposure to it is the many pictures of the figure with the one faceplate. You know which one I'm talking about. It was everywhere. So I'm not sure what's different here. I just know that they label it 2.0. It's another chance to get Woody if you missed out on the first two? Has it been re-released a couple times? I'm more interested in the Nightmare Before Christmas Sally because of the several re-releases of Jack. And I think that dates all the way back to 2013 or something. They've released that several times. I think there's something. Either way, it's nice to see a companion piece for that. Although I will say, looking at the pictures, having her sitting down, how thin the Revoltech joints look in certain places like the ankles and the knees. Ooh. That's the thing about translating that movie into action figure form. There is a lot of thinness involved. Just itty bitty joints and limbs and things. But this does look pretty good. I will wait, I will see. This week I started seeing pictures of the NECA Universal Monsters Bride of Frankenstein Ultimate Frankenstein's monster float around, and I thought, oh, they're re-releasing that figure with a different throne or a different chair thing. Base. How low can you go? Then I learned, nope, this is some reuse in some areas. I think the pants and the boots, but the jacket, the arms, the heads, those are new sculpt. I think. I don't follow Universal Monsters, the movies or the figures, so I didn't realize that NECA had already shown this off already at a con. So there you go. There's pictures, there's a pre-order up on the NECA store, but it's not exclusive. They were asked this and they said first to market on the NECA store. So if you'd rather wait for a retailer, then there's that option too. But how can you say no to this face? He's so cute. Aren't you? He's so cute. Yes, you are. That is not all from NECA though. They also solicited their Dungeons & Dragons 50th anniversary Strongheart. Who didn't see repaints of these figures coming? This guy, because I don't know a lot about Dungeons & Dragons. I didn't collect back in the day. But it makes sense, right? Take the molds that already exist of beautifully sculpted action figures, change the realistic paint job to something more reminiscent of the vintage LJN line, Shazam! Nostalgia. That is the way to a lot of collectors' hearts. I mean, they even replaced the realistic style cape to something more flat and sparkly, just like the original release. And it totally works in that throwback kind of way. It's meant to look like that. Then you put it in a blister on a card back, oh, twanging those strings. Plus, if you're a mint on card collector, this is the way to display it in your collection instead of the traditional NECA boxes, right? I mean, I don't do mint on card. You can just put the box on the shelf though, but this displays the figure hanging on the wall, up and out of the way, just like pegs back in the day at retail stores. Again, I didn't follow Dungeons & Dragons, but I'm guessing that's how it felt because I get that same nostalgic feeling with other retro carded releases from other lines. Star Wars, Marvel. Oh, yeah. I remember walking into Walmart, seeing those huge ass overalls over the men's section, heading back to toys and just seeing the wall of action figures. That's what this brings back to here. Oh, but that ain't stopping there. If you flip over the package and look at the back, there's also Warduke, Elkhorn, and Zarek in that same style. I figure those pre-orders aren't too far away. Get them up, get them out, and then that can help fund more unique characters down the line for the Ultimate and the 50th anniversary. The circle just keeps a spinning. Is that right? The cycle keeps a turning? Toys. I recorded the last rewind early, so I just barely missed the reveal of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label Amazon exclusive Kilowog and Kyle Rayner 2-pack. In fact, I was in such a hurry that I didn't realize that McFarlane Toys didn't announce any DC Multiverse last week, which is weird. We're used to talking about them on a weekly basis. There was an emptiness, a hole. So Todd came around this week and completely stuffed it full. Here, at least for me, it is all about Kilowog. Look at this big bulky bastard. I'm not saying the Kyle is bad, but we've seen him a couple times in this line before. Although this does come with the accessories of both of the previous releases. The Blackest Nightwave with the Atrocitus Build-A-Figure and then the Target exclusive version. And that's on top of this being a more traditional Green Lantern green, instead of the lighter dill pickle of those other two. Then there is the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Gold Label GameStop exclusive Rebirth Batman Frostbite Edition. Haha, I did it. I did it. Not a lot to say here. It's Rebirth Batman in some frosted translucent blue plastic. It's neat in a, hey, they made a Batman ice sculpture for the party kind of way, but, well, now that I say it like that, it would be kind of a go on there. But it's completely passable if you don't want it. Same goes for the Gold Label Entertainment Earth exclusive Curse of the White Knight Azrael Sketch Edition. Yes, I had to read that one, I'm sorry. It appeals to fans of this style or completists. It gives a retailer something special to sell, and it's easy mold reuse. That's just toy manufacturing 101. But then there was some McFarlane Toys digital releases, and I'm putting this in a different segment because this is actually under the DC Direct banner. It's not DC Multiverse, even though it has DC Multiverse style and articulation and sculpting and presentation. This is DC Direct with a digital aspect. Batman, Aquaman, and Green Lantern all are physical releases that you can play and pose around with in the real world, but they also have digital versions come with. I guess you buy the toy and then you go to the site and there's a code or something, and then you have an online version that you can mess with virtually. But that's to say, okay, cool, we're still getting the plastic. Batman is reuse of the Rebirth Batman that we were just talking about, except not frozen. Now it's in kind of a classic blue and gray color scheme with an unmasked head that I think is new, but don't quote me on that. In fact, never quote me on anything. Quote the Robo. Never ever more. Aquaman goes even more classic with his costume and colors, but what is that Keebler elf thing he comes with? Am I showing my lack of knowledge of anything pre-2000s DC? I started reading after that. Don't give me... I know a lot of the basics, I know a lot of the stories before that, but this escapes me. And I'm recording this before they actually go up for pre-order. I'm showing the pictures here because I'm probably in edits at this point and the pre-orders have gone up, but as I'm talking about it in real time, because that's how time works, it can only go one way, I don't know. I haven't seen any labels for this. I've only seen a leak picture of this. That's why I'm talking about it here. I just wasted time, didn't I? Because that's how time works too. If you waste it, you can't get it back. So here we all are. I think Green Lantern's my favorite out of this trio though. Very classic feeling, kind of diaperish, but that head sculpt, that color scheme, that is scrumdiddlyumptious. Then apparently the digital thing is taken a step further. Again, I'm recording this before the actual pre-orders go up, but it's listed as having a digital Build-A-Figure. So you buy all 3 figures and then to me, gotta hold them in my hand, feel the crack of those joints right out of the package as my nostrils fill with the smell of factory paint kind of guy. That's not much incentive for me to purchase all 3, no matter how amazing looking a figure is on my screen. And I do emphasize looking because, hey, maybe there's fans of that too. Maybe people like that, and maybe I'm missing something. But as a concept, on the surface, without doing a lot of digging, like the old man I am, I don't like it. Yeah, again, I just grab what I like. Finally, a little Marvel Legends news, because hey, we started this rewind with some 90s goodness, might as well finish it off with the same feeling. The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer dropped this week during the Super Bowl, so why wouldn't Hasbro reissue their 80th anniversary Deadpool and then the Deadpool and Scooter pack? That's marketing, ride the wave. Deadpool's hot this week. Let's release some toys. Even though a lot of people already have it, it's Deadpool. It's gonna sell. You got your Wolverines, you got your Spider-Mans, you got your Caps, you got your Iron Man, you got your major names. Deadpool's one of those. You release an action figure of Deadpool that is good. Okay, there are some caveats there, but it's Deadpool. it's gonna sell. But don't think for a second they're not gonna reveal more Deadpool figures. So if you don't like these, pass on by, because there's more coming. Deadpool movie's gonna be big. Isn't it the only release from Marvel proper this year? So yeah, there's money to be made. More Deadpools. And I will get everything. I already have these, so I'm cool. But I don't hold it against them for wanting to get something Deadpool out there while Deadpool's in everybody's brains and minds. Brains and minds. Can you tell? I've been recording for a while. I'm pretty much done. Let's look at these Deadpool pictures. And because when it comes down to it, there's different eras of Deadpool. I think the 80th anniversary evokes more of an X-Force feel, kind of that classic Deadpool, even though it's not perfect. And then the Scooter Deadpool with that harness is more Cable and Deadpool series. That's where he was wearing that, wasn't it? There's still more versions to be made. And with the movie being multiverse, having all these different versions come in, the sky's the limit. So if you hate Deadpool, ooh, I'd get into bed and pull those covers up tight over your ear, because you don't want nothing to do with it. No Deadpool. None for me, please. Thank you. Speaking of the future, though, Hasbro has announced that the next Marvel Legends fan stream is next Tuesday. That's February 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern. Are they going to show more Deadpool there? Maybe some X-Men? Maybe something else? You know me, I don't follow leaks and lists and all that. I want to see pretty promotional pictures. And even then, I forget about them half the time, especially the wait from pre-orders to release. So I'm surprised when the leak list hits, I forget about it. Then the reveals happen and I'm surprised again, and then I forget about it. And then I get shipping notice and I'm surprised again. It's like a big happy silver lining kind of thing just happening constantly in my brain. Just this hobby is awesome. That's where I'm at. And that's all I got for this week. Did you notice the theme? The majority was stuff we already knew about, or repaints, reissues, something like that, but still new in a roundabout kind of way. It's all action figures. That's all we're doing here. We're not trying to change the world or anything. We're just looking for just a little bit of happiness. And I like looking at toys. I like looking at pictures. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was out of town for 2 weekends in a row, so I may have missed some stuff, may swing back around, but it's the rewind. It's stuff that caught my eye in the past 7 days. If it didn't catch my eye, I can't talk about it. In fact, I was plumb tuckered out of it after 2 weekends, so I didn't get a video up this week. I did a live stream, but no video. So when I got to Thursday and started compiling the pictures, I thought, man, is there gonna be enough to talk about? And there usually is, but there was way more than I thought. The more I looked, the more I was like, hey, that. But unfortunately, there was no YOLO Park to talk about. I tried. I was gonna keep that gag a-running, but I just couldn't do it. There were no new pictures or info or release or anything. But me mentioning that is essentially talking about it again, right? So, have you heard the good word about the YOLO Park Transformers AMK Pro Series Generation 1 model kits? They're cool. As always, special thanks to the Patreon. They're the wind beneath my wings. They're always there to set me straight. They're my test group. I throw it out. Again, I was really tired the past week, so there wasn't a lot going up, but they're usually behind the scenes looks or everything. I did post a picture of my spinner of the Rocketeer from Loose Collector, which is still sitting over there after a week. I'm gonna get to that review next week. Maybe that YOLO Park Megatron, some play days. I've partnered up with Big Bad Toy Store for one, but I've also been sent a lot of stuff for another one. So, more play days. And during the live stream, somebody asked about Tales from the Tubs. Get back into that too, because this space is in a constant state of flux. Tables moving, tables, lights on, lights off, the clapper. It's just, I think I have a space to shoot that constantly, and I don't, then it disappears. So, which I guess doesn't matter. I'm just pulling toys out of tubs. I don't know. We'll get back to it. That's another thing. I'm so used to the schedule that when I get off schedule, I think I'm destroying the channel or something, but I'm not. I can take a couple days off, especially to go to cons, because I love that. Get out there, talk to people face to face, go to new cities, new towns, new convention centers, new restaurants, do a little travel after being in the house for a little bit. So everything's up in the air, but up in the air is not a bad thing. It adds some excitement to it, because after a week of just messing with stuff, not shooting anything, I was excited as all hell to get out here and do the rewind. There's toys to talk about. So maybe some months it'll just be the rewind, and that's okay. And some months, maybe video after video after video,